Running on high acceleration stream centers in various location directions. High channeling, high line centers, box interference, times triangulation, high inner rotation line system. Position of direction is all levels of U. Now, to understand that when you are communicating to your system lines, do you understand what you're doing through your thoughts? You're not aware of what you're doing through travel, and that confuses locations to its box specification line. So even though you are basically saying positive cis location of the physical line and you say something negative, it's the inline center location is walking backwards. So if you think you're going forward in the physical line, you're not. The mind is going back. You understand that? So it's about understanding you're walking backwards, but your physical line thinks it's going forward. It's not. It's trapped in signal. Okay? So it's mostly understanding how to not say things in that connection. When you're saying positions of, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, not right now, maybe later, what are you saying to your avatar inside? Let's start there. What are you saying? Every time you say something, you're clocking backwards, not forward. So if your physical line thinks it's going forward, it's not, because the thinking, therefore I create. Creating is co-creation, therefore I am. So it's all position, location of U through direction, how you set your signals and how you calculate all levels of U, right? I think we should bring that up in Zoom after. I think it's important you guys really understand what is going on with you and really how to use your thoughts and how it basically it's transferring energy from one place to another times pi. Okay? Going from here to here is here times pi. Understand? So, which means you're already there. You're already there. So when you don't even say something, you're there already because it's already created. But what you don't understand is where is it going? Where is your intention? Your intention can change into positive, negative. And then you go back and forth like this, like a windshield wiper. Now you have no clue what you're doing. So you're going forward, you're going back, you're going forward, you're going back. You go over here, you go here. You know, it's interesting how we look at these things, right? You're getting an online center interference location, a program setting, and it doesn't understand anything through your box position locations, right? The calculus of U is all levels of communication. How you use it is all levels of U inside. So when you wake up in the morning, your perception is seeing everything in line, not outline position. Okay, that's an illusion. So the avatar gets confused to the eye lines, it gets confused to the ear position, gets confused to the realm location of travel, gets confused to the flux capacitor, gets confused to transmitting and receiving information. Right? So your intention has to be clear. Okay? Especially when you come into the positives and negatives of anything to that cycle. Right? You're about going forward, not back. Forward, not back. Understand? So that puts you in a better position. Okay? All right. Happy morning. Very, very busy. So we got a 5-day window. Position locations, we're going to travel to a line center location of all levels of Mars. Mars position location is the containment center. That's where we drop off communications of inline locations of computers. Position of directions, right? It's more a compound, a facility. Basically, it's more of a construction zone. It's positioned for you guys to understand more levels. We're going to go into calculations, how we're going to set up geometry interference. You guys are going to be XT1000 line units, and you'll get in position to create crop circles. Okay, more information, more depth, right? More depth. The deep line center interference and depth, communication line stream. How to communicate to the grounds, the powers, and the outer locations, all right? Really understand the coloration to its path or anything in that formation, all right? So we'll travel really fast. Center position location to calculations here. All right, so 5 days running program, okay, in the simulation, all right? Test will be at the end of the month, which is position locations at calculation, the 30th, right? Okay, 30 line centers in rotation. Okay, so that's the countdown on lines. Jill, how's it going? Lauren, how's it going? Lindsay, Don, Terry, Johnny, Michael, Amby, Val, Heather, Danielle, Joanne, Elaine, Danny. Let's see about Jess, Pam, Airbender, All right, it's great to see everybody. All right, so when we're traveling, please stay in your own lanes. It's most important to understand locations. I will be holding next Friday, right after class. We will be going through all levels of finding out where you stand. See that? Getting ready for travel locations, solar lights. Travel line position location and track system, knowing exactly what you're doing through timelines, a sequence. So next Friday, we get into the activation in the sectors. We'll have intergalactic in position of the team helping you out. I really want you guys to understand where you're traveling through, why you're traveling, and why you're here. Just to remember who you are, to give you guidance, to get you in your position locations, right? Finding the truth of who you are. That's why you're all in position location. Century side comes into 69 into the line centers. Thumbs up position location calculations. Isn't that amazing? 69. Is that a coincidence? No. Birthing line center and interference location of mine. Center line connections, 1 line center, 9 in rotation interference, in position locations of 69, and high center locations of 68. It went from 70 to 68 in 2 line centers. Dropping sequence in position of 2 track locations, 67. 3 positions, right? Interesting how it fluctuates up and down. So I'm looking at the number sequence line center and how fast it spins its position location directions, who's going to be going on and who's going to be jumping off. It's interesting how you go locations, all levels of views. The viewers that comes on location. So, all right, so let's get started. Core lines are set up as location directions, all right? Apply to division location and calculations. We're going to go recourse line centers, white graph line and rotation calculation. Okay. All right, so 1 position direction. There's Mars. Okay, Mars is coming in sonar lines, high so locations. Now, in position locations where you can understand that anything in the center operation line center is position location directions. 12 positions of signals and high line rotation calculation and position of time. All right, setting course line triangles in position location XT thousands. Ground line centers, there are position location calculations. Picking you guys up in high rotation, you guys are here. Okay, you guys are in the grounds, right? So I'm going to pick you guys up. 4 line position location directions. Pick you guys up. You're gonna cross line stream. There you are on Mars. Communication line stream and position of direction is to understand all levels. We're going to integrate locations. We're going to go through a 5 window line center, okay, in a 5-day program, running program location calculations in Mars. So your position locations is online. Okay, so you got 20 minutes on the dot. Okay, location and countdown. Right? Have fun on that line center interference. Get position location directions. Setting course in simulation is all about relining. Okay, it's interference location calculations. All right, so in that position, we have a creator line in position location. Okay. 3 line center interference, okay, because you guys are on position of Mars. So track line centers, box interference, or triangle locations, a spot position. All right, knowing exactly what you're doing through high lines. It's all about position of direction. Okay, setting signals, locking system, in position location, direction, location. All right. So it gets more complicated because what you're doing is you're setting up graph lines of structure interference. All right. So we're locking sequence locations and all levels. Looks confusing, right? Right. So it's all levels of a grid, all through triangle. So it's knowing exactly how to set these things up, guys. All right, that's set up in signal locations. Now, each point line center is an XT1000 line. These are all XT1000s on road graph line rotation. All right. Teleport units and high line centers, all levels. Core line center interference of sectors, vectors, quadrants, and high line rotation. Put them into high line channels, XT1000 lines. Everybody else, location, interdimensional, and intergalactic high system. Put them into XT31 lines. Okay, XT31000. Okay. XT1000 line equals location, lock signal, equals position locations, high channel line center interference, flux capacitor locations, high system, locks to center. Okay, interdimensional lines. Okay, locking frequency locations, position of time. High position location to track location to a system. All right. So it's not what I do, it's how I do it. It's how things are set up. All right. All right. So in position locations, we're going to measure in align center locations. Each dot line center is going to be set in lines 1, 2, 3 track line locations. Right. Then we go through coloration path, setting line connections of 4 round cycles, high center interference. In position to direction, 1, 2, 3, high position direction. Okay, so we go through another coloration path. This illuminates the security line position of track line system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 position location of traction. Now, understanding communication at all levels of view. How to understand the position of direction is to understand how to use all levels. So this is about setting up shapes of crop circles. 1 position location of traction, in position location, all levels in position. All right. So this is how you set up a crop circle location. You got a center dot position, and you got northwest, south, and east, high position location, all levels. You start off with that line, right? Now, getting position locations, you got your point dots. These are location centers. It's a cosmic position of a plasma web. It's communication lines into a web line rotation interference, position, direction. Setting read channel line center in rotation calculations. Stream centers comes into all levels. Okay, so it highlights its TV reception line in position the opposite direction location. 1, 2, 3, 3 position location of calculation. Setting reline centers and new positions of relays. Now we come into secure line defense. Sets new graph line in rotation calculation. All right, it comes into new graph line rotation calculation interference. Okay. So it's all about a walkway system location, electric light connection, laser, 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 triangulation right there. So that's in position of direction, knowing exactly how to set up recourse line channel. So it's a structural location of hologram line. It streams its position location to calculation. All right? Set position location to calculation line stream. Circle line rotation and clocking location, position of time. Center recourse line channels. Now, in that measure, put you in a higher division location. Once you understand the role play of you understand the sequence patterns. It's a communication line stream. Sending course lines of new position location of traction. Now you got the sun line communication coming in, right? And position location. Moon's going to change the coloration in another division line. Okay, sun and the moon. So the moon comes into Mars. Mars comes into track location. Mars is in a different light signal. It changes the coloration because you guys are on position location attraction. So every time you're in a foundation of a new planet or any locations on the same planet, it changes the coloration of you through heat signature patterns. It puts you in a higher division locations into a levels. So it's understanding the position location through its diamond core line center in rotation to 1 position, 2 position, 3 position, and 4. Okay. So it tracks the center to the atom line to the sun position, fluctuation, flux capacitor. That's how you position of 3 planets, all levels of synchronous locations in string theory. So crop circles are all set up to the ground center, but you have to understand what you're doing through calculation, right? In its division. So recoursing channels, coloration of positions that change line center in a rotation calculation. This is where you come into high line center to communication of antenna. That antenna high position location to its triangle sets reline centers in relay position locations of time frame. Time frame opens all communication to its triangle force line communication system. Allocates high line center to more positions. So it's all about setting a graph line stream, right? All through a crop circle. Crop circle is the basic understanding how to set up a shape to the grounds. Now it's all position location, how you set lines of security measure. It's all position locations of nothing but a hologram structure of security line defense in position direction. Okay. So once you understand that, you understand the communication, right? Really understand the X2000, all position locations, and why crop circles are set on the ground center location and position of time, right? So it illuminates the center lines in communication. Now, its in position location has its antenna, but the antenna is offline position. Okay. So in that position location, it gets its beacon lights. The solar graph line center in position locations interlines all levels. That's where it reaches the growthians. Now, the growthians set line connections all levels. Your pyramid is in the bottom line center in rotation spinning in position location directions. One position location. All right. Calculation to high stream. Coloration change. Okay. One is coloration and one is position location. So understanding track line center is all levels of measure. Okay. You all have diamond cores below your feet line. Now, in position location is 150,000 lines of communication. 150,000 lines of communication. That opens all signal into the center line of its crop circle, illuminates graph interference, location, and directions, right? High positions of its track center opens all communication, right? Now, once that sets line signals, the signature pattern comes into high force line triangles, high position of directions, right? Line sends coloration to its line of its graph, opens all communication. Once you center line its position, it takes it in its equation, has it stored in its information. Then it zips out, zooms out position location equation back into the sun. That's how you set up a crop circle in ground formation. All right. So it gets a little bit more complicated, but you have to really understand the grounds of you inside because it measures you in vibration location use calculation. That's your vibrational line. So if you're creating a crop circle, it'll be this way, you're off position. So it's all about an anxiety. You're way off position. You're really depressed. You're way off position. So, and remember, you have to ground the system of security line. Security line, defense line has to be straight, or you can't set up position location to a crop circle. Understand? So if your vibrations are way too high in high center, your crop circle will be floating in space-line communication off system, right? So it's mostly understanding what you're doing through crop lines and how to use and measure communication on lines through a temperature reading line stream. If you get 5 positional system channels, 4 line signals in 3 locations in the 2 positions of 1 line center, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, initiate up system location, right? Now, that's about understanding the ground line center has to be a measure of communication. Truly understand that you are all levels of you. It's how you track your system to your human resident, your grounds. You got 3 lines, 4 positions of 5, right? 5 different wave locations, right? You line cross the stream interference equals line. Okay, equals line position, location, and directions, right? Now, equal line center is plus, okay, over cross of integer line center location, negative cycle. Negative cycle positions of its directions. It balances out the scales of communication to its ground system of teleportation light stream. That's how you measure the fluctuation line conditions of patterns. So you don't want to overcross system of plus lines or anything equal locations of negative lines. You have to balance out the scale. If you balance out the scale, your crop circle will be in ground formation location. If not, it'll be here. 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 All right? So you don't want to do that. You want to be in the ground center. So this is where your body line center and your information location has to be in the grounds. You ground your levels in space of the mind. This is not the grounds. The grounds of the mind. That's what you guys are opening up to. The adaptation of the adapter and inference location of calculation has to truly understand. You're locking your sequence patterns of coloration pattern location to the grounds of your vibration. Line signal cross location of positive or negative. Okay, so you have to learn how to scale, right? So when an XT1000 is above line center, you're never going to see in the ground location. It's always at least 1,000 yards up. So in position location, the laser comes in, and it's just, it's waiting for you, right? So if you don't ground the system, the connections of the XT1000 off signal, it's got to come back up again. So that's all dependence on you, because remember, you're doing it through your thought lines. And that's the only way you can travel through your crystal location. You can't cross stream interference. It's too confusing. Look, it's too confusing. You have no idea if I'm going forward or backwards with my finger locations. Simplify, right? Back into 69, back into 70 locations of 9, thumbs up. So it's mostly understanding to ground the center, to understand the air, to understand the waters and the fires of you. So if you balance all communication of 4-line channels, you're good to go in the vibration locations. You will not have any problem how to set up a crop circle to its ground formation. So it's all about understanding the equalized center, positive over negative, negative over positive. So the positive has to go to negative, right? But you have to find the balance. Okay, so too much on one side doesn't help. It's like, whoa, I got to bring it back up. Yo, what are we doing here? You know, like, whoa, you know, you got to balance these things out. Okay, that's a true understanding. But it's extremely powerful when you get into crop circles. All you're doing is you're balancing the beam, right? So if the XC1000 is way off, you got to come back because you're using the thought lines and you're calculating the modification location, setting up grids as they are setting up the shape position. Shape position, people, all calculated. Shape position. All right. So there's a lot to understand, right? Gets a lot more confusing, right? But it's a lot more fun. This is just day one. Okay, so try not to lose too much of what's going on in that information. You just have to basically understand how to ground your system. And it's the positive negative system location in your mind. The minds of space is the grounds, not the grounds you're on. Okay, so you have to change your avatar line center in the mind collaboration of thought. Okay, and then you understand the travel communication system, especially when it comes into levels of divergence and the sectors from the very beginning. Stay in your graph of your ramp. Don't go here, don't go here, don't go way over here, don't go way over here. Don't jump over a fence if you don't understand your position calculations. All right? So when you stay in your lane, you get to know your system and your panels, your energy fields, your energy grids, and your line conditions. Okay? You're not off relaying or any line or rotation calculations to computer interference. It's getting you a program setting how to reset line positions of directional locations. All right? All right. So position line center. Okay. In position location of 20. All right. So bringing you guys out of track line, putting you guys back in position location to calculations, code signals, take them out of position location, back where they are, the ground center. Earth perception location to calculation. Guys are back. All right. So what you've experienced is basically understanding how to keep a crystal grid grounded. If you don't understand how to ground the mind, this is exactly what happens with your crop circles. Because remember, this is all floating in space. This has to be created before it hits the grounds of the earth. You understand? So if your mind adaptation cyclone line center isn't balanced in the adapter's location of its measure, you're going to have problems with the communication to your scales. You're not going to understand how to equalize its position location of balance. It's like a teeter-totter, you know? Whoa. You're on a boat, you know, you're tipping yourself in too much on one side, not sure what's going on in the other line rotation. So it's in calculation, how you use the position the right lines of its earth and its left lines of space. You got to balance out the two. You got to balance out the grounds and the space. It's got to be here, not here. It's off balance, right? So this has to come back down. In that calculation modification stream center, allocate timeline center to the mind adaptation interference location if its program centers its position of its gravity line center. It's extremely powerful when you understand how to ground your mind in adaptation. All through solar graph locations, through your perception. So it's really understanding how to put your positions in direction. All right. All right. So where are we through calculation here? There's a lot going on. Identify myself, the Mars security plugins, grounding network line, crystal grid, setting up security fence, protect data streams, eliminating sonar, breach. Breadcrumbs for return trip. Very good, Joe. All right. Heard the call. Great. Overwatch. Triangulation, vortex channeling. So this is about you balancing out your mind, not just with your thoughts, but with your grounds, guys. You don't want to have a vortex circle in rotation opposition because the shapes will fall off. Remember, it's like copy and paste, except you're using laser and you're using electrical connections to its system. So we plotted the visual location, we created this baseline, and then we put it on the Earth position. But the ground line center has to be balanced into position location of track system, which is the psychosis location, the psychological line. If you don't understand the psychological line rotation interference, your ground positions will shift off in position location. Pay attention to these things. Right? Day 2 is coming up. All right. So understand the locations. You understand how to triangulate its system. Okay. So this will give you a little bit more understanding how you can get into what is going on, how to ground these things through a crop circle location. See? Information location. 150,000 line centers in the ground lines into your position to your pyramid location, the Growthians. So we're all working together, but your mind has to be balanced in all 4 ring cycles because you're calculated and modified into position location. So this is where it's interesting. Knowing that you're living every single day position of 1 day line center into all seasons into 1 location. Winter, spring, summer, and fall comes into 1. Your numbers of 1 to 12 come into 1. Your DNA track locations comes into 1. Your tracker systems comes into 1. Everything comes into 1. Your graph line centers, your security measures into 1. Everything, your thoughts, position, location, the direction, your psychosis, and your line centers. Your physical line center, the mental, physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual into 1. Everything comes into 1. Everything in the clocking system is 1, simultaneously, all at once, different vibrations. Taking you guys out of the 7-day track location. All right. Releasing position location helps you and always informs. Right. So it's interesting. I say 12 line. What is the finger point location? Thumbs up. 12. What is the position of views? 73. So it's 7. Okay. 3 positions of the sun. Circle that. 7 equals 3 line center. Okay. And 12 is position locations into half line position. Half line position. I need 24 signals in communications to all levels because 12 times 12 is 144. Balance position, location, and directions, right? All through 7-point line center location of 3. So I know it gets complicated when it comes to number sequence, but you have to understand everything through a crop circle is set up through letters, numbers, and symbols. You got a core line center of 7. 7 equals crop. Crop equals box in position, location, and directions. You need structure, you need formula. That box position locations comes into a circle line. The XT1000 comes in position, location, and directions. Scans and line center interference. Platitudes visual locations open all more channel line center to a circle line, high line, and rotation calculation interference location. Now that puts position location into the box center into its position to its triangulation into travel of a hologram structure. So 7 is what? Everything. E is what? Everything. Everything you are platitude is all levels of view of everything. A is everything. All right. Your whole alphabetical stream system is everything. Mass of nothing is everything of information. This is everything. It's not just headphones. You just think it's headphones, but it's not. It's used in so many different ways. Look, it's a flux capacitor. Right? You go beyond the mind. It's amazing what you can do. All levels of wire, anything through phone, anything through adapter, anything through a charger. Charger is everything. Okay, charger. You can change a charger into a number sequence. Position locations. There's a charger, right? And this is your phone adapter location, right? You got your buttons. I say locations. You got your window frame. That's your phone, right? So it's all about understanding that the charger is electrical light connection interference, setting business location to phone. Phone signals out in high line center and business location to 3-line center interference, business location directions. Has its grounds. Everything has to have its grounds because it's a rotation spin line. And it has a magnetic highway line center interference, a 3-line position location to track interference to position location to its ground line system. All through a charger. Charger comes back line center in the circuit location of its wall in position direction. Ooh-ah, all through a phone. So we really, really have to pay attention and go beyond recognition of anything. And that's why you guys have problems with your phones. That's why you can't communicate with your phones. It's because you have to see the phone in space. And the only way to see that location is from inside. You don't look at your phone, you look through it. So you go beyond the phone. So this is what it is. Location is track location. This is one line. This is another line. And this is another line. We've done this on live location. That's your phone, right? Traveling. You don't just see it, you go beyond it. So when you go beyond it opens up a portal. And then you travel through it, right? So that's in relation. You put it on position of the window. Okay, you face it, and it opens up its portal, right? Which opens all lines and location of phone reception. But it's all done through its crop circle. So you have to understand why crop circles on the grounds and always inform. So what is a crop circle? To space time, everything. And that's how you guys have to interpret your locations and how you see your perception, because everything is everything. Your keyboard is everything. My phone is everything, right? My digital pad is everything. It's not just a digital pad, a computer frame. It's everything. Digital form of everything is everything. So the mass of nothing, okay, is position of source, how it's created. So if you start off a dot line in business locations, there's a dot. Right? Now, when you bring it into sequence, it comes into a circle. Okay? You bring it into another sequence and comes into a circle. All right? So it's getting bigger and bigger. This is how you create a hologram structure location. All right? So over time, you come into higher line center interference. Okay, it's getting bigger and bigger. Now, once it gets to a certain point of view, it creates an anomaly. It creates its own space of time. It communicates the physical line and creates a road graph location to its way in. It centers position locates on levels in the graph location of a wall. High position location of calculations. Puts barriers and position locations of measure. High center line connections on levels. Wire communication road graph interference. All position location electrical wires and position location of calculations all through a dot. Ooh-ah. Right? And then you travel through it, position, location, and direction. There you go. Thinking beyond, going beyond, seeing beyond. I am beyond. Thinking beyond every level. Not just seeing. We're all looking at seeing. But the problem that we don't understand is what we're seeing through its awareness. Understanding what this is in position locations. It started off as a dot, and now what it is. Look what it is through creation. Look what I created through a dot. To understand that is from inside out, right? And then once you understand the inside and out, and then you understand the outside and in of space, because space has inside out, but that's your birth line center. Once you understand that adaptation through its adaptivity interference location calculations, then you understand the outline center in rotation interference. So again, in position locations, you got a box position locations. You're in, you jump out, and you look back in. Okay, you jump out, you look back in, and then you see what is going on with you from outside position of inside location. So it's all about understanding the clocking system of you, the calculation system of you, the activation stream system of you, the all levels of the ground center, the power line center interference, and the magnetic highway information system. Okay, so there's a lot of things you have to adapt to, right? Because life is built inside, not outside. But it gets more complicated when you go to higher levels of the alter state locations of the mind, especially when you're dealing with alpha channels, communication, stream interference, location calculation, right? It's all position of you, okay? All levels of you is everything, right? To its information. It's given to you more levels when you understand more memory of you. Space and time comes more to you. Faster, 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 faster. So what are you doing is you're starting off as a dot and creating position locations to its source of its recognition of our relation. Well, what you just finished creating. But you start here and you come into all this, what you just created. It's already created. It's already stored. So there's no thinking. The knowing's already done. So understand that calculation from here to here. Everything in center line times pi. Understand? So day 2 is coming up. We have a lot to discuss. Okay. Tomorrow and position direction, which is now line center interference. 24 line center track interference will get you into clocking, how you can balance out the crop circle and the space line system. All right. So, yeah, it's about balancing you inside the mind. Because if you can't balance the mind center, you're going to be off position location near crop circles. Yeah, roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. So that's what you're doing is you're creating this geometry and space line and digital platform locations, right? So it's kind of like doing green screen and CGI, and you're creating a crop circle. You have to create it in space line in the mind before you put it on the ground, because it's the ground line centered location position. Everything has to be in direct signal, so I can laser up, right? So very powerful class. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. Okay. Questions will be answered on Zoom. All right. High channel line interference locations. Code signal out. Adios.